Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Hallie Faye. We're going to make a dish of all gratin potatoes this evening. My way. Of course, everybody has their own way, right? And everything. They're always delicious, however you make them. But this just happens to be my way to make them. So I've already done it, cut them up and stuff so you can see 4 potatoes. And see, I sliced them really thin like this. And we're going to layer them in the bottom of this. I've got me a skillet, buttered and ready. This is my old 10-inch skillet. Right now I have in here my butter melting. I have in here half a stick of butter, okay? I'm going to get this melted, and then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. Let me scoot it over this way a little bit more. 3 tablespoons of flour to this butter, and get my whisk, and I'm going to cook this until that flour is kind of cooked a little bit, about a minute. Once it's all stirred together, let it cook for about a minute. You know, you want to get that raw flour taste out of there. That's all you're doing with that, right? So there's 3 tablespoons of flour. All right. Get that stirred up. Show y'all this so I don't have to keep bringing the camera. See how it is in there? So now I'm going to just stand here and let that cook for a minute. We'll get the flour cooked a little bit, and then we're going to add our a little bit of salt. I think I had it wrote down before back in the day. I hadn't done them in a while. Half a teaspoon of salt, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add half a teaspoon of salt while that's cooking. You might go easy with your salt because your cheese has salt in it, and you're going to salt and pepper your layers a couple of times as you're layering them in your pan, and then a couple of pieces of bacon on the top, and we know that's salty too, so you know, just kind of keep that in mind. If you put some salt in this, in what's going to be your cheese sauce. Okay, we're going to call that good enough. And I have here 2½ cups of whole milk, okay? Stir it in a little bit and keep whisking it to get it the lumps out of it. And then stir you a little more in there. If you stir it all in, if you dump it all in at once, you get these, excuse me, these lumps going on. Then you have to fight them a little bit. But this way, if you just add a little bit at a time, just a couple of times, you don't have to just keep doing it a little bit at a time, but stir it in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest. Alright? Now, we've got to stay on this and stir it, because we don't want it to stick to the bottom of it or anything. We're going to let this get thickened, and then we are going to add, we have 1 cup of grated cheddar here. We're going to add half of this cup of grated cheddar in here, and a half a block of cream cheese, okay? That's what we're going to melt in here once we get this thickened. We got to let this, and take that milk a minute to heat up. And I always do this when I'm cooking something that I have flour in that I'm working on. I take me a spoon and go around the edge, because it tends to stick around the edge of your pot. See, it'll do that, and that will stick on there. So just get you a spoon and kind of scrape it off there a little bit while you're stirring. This is a good old dish, y'all. It's a good side dish to have with your meals, and it's something the kids will eat. And well, I guess the kids will eat it because you have an onion, 1 whole onion sliced in there. If you don't want to put the onion in it, don't do it. But to me, it's just not right without the onion. And I don't know, with it baked in there and all the cheese stuff and the potatoes and everything, I don't know how it's got butter and cheese and 2 different cheeses and potatoes and bacon, you know. So, I don't know. That's up to you. Or if you want to do, you know, just a little bit of onion then, right? So I've got all my potatoes sliced up. I've got one left here I was going to slice with y'all. What did I do with my knife? Well, I don't know. I'll use this one. I just don't want to walk away from this. You'll walk away from it and forget it, and then you're in trouble. You'll lose all your ingredients. Because it'll start getting thick just like all of a sudden, and then it's done. Get that done up there. We'll go ahead and show y'all here. See, I've got one potato left, and I'm just slicing them real thin like this. Let me see. I say real thin. I don't mean paper thin, but pretty thin. If you sliced them paper thin, they'd cook apart in there while they were baking. That's pretty much how the thickness or whatever I do with them. And then this onion, I'm just going to slice it in some thin circles. I do cut it pretty thin. This is a little bit larger onion than I want, so I may not put this whole onion in there. Because you just want one layer of your onion. You're going to put one layer of onion in the center of it. When we go to layering our potatoes. Woo, that spoon handle's hot. I'm hot in here today. I've got the back door open. I thought it'd be some good fresh air letting in the house, and that oven going. This Texas weather, I tell you, you just don't know. You just prepare for everything, right? Alright, that's the onion I'm gonna do with it. So here's my potatoes and here's my onions. So now we're just waiting on this to cook, get thick. Well, it's not going to get thick like pudding, like or whatever, but it will thicken up like probably almost like a gravy, I'd call it. Once it starts boiling, it'll do its thing. This dish is nice to have. You know, it's a change from mashed potatoes and, you know, macaroni and cheese and things like that for a side dish. Like, I don't know, say you're just having fried steak, or say you're having a skillet of smothered steak or something, you know. It goes good with that. It goes good with fried chicken. You know, it's something different from mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese. It's like it's a combination of both of those things, right? But it's a good change of pace, but it's still on that flavor choice where the kids will eat it. And you generally always have all this stuff in your kitchen. You know, the milk, the flour, the cheese, the butter, you know, and your onion. And the cream cheese is the main thing that we tend to, you know, have to double check ourselves on. But cream cheese will last forever in your refrigerator if you buy it. And just when you go, you can, you know, pick up 3 or 4 blocks of it and have them in there on hand. Because there's so many things it's delicious in. Like I say, I love to put it in my mac and cheese, and I love to put it in this. It just gives it a good flavor. And then I use it a lot, of course, in my sweets and stuff. Okay, I'm going to show y'all. Let me take the camera down real quick. Let y'all to see it bubbling in the pot. Okay, see? See how it's thick now? Alright, I'm going to turn my fire down. Oh, this old stove is so picky. Okay. Alright, it's bubbling and thick now. So now I'm just going to do it by hand, measure it a little bit. I'm going to take this cheddar cheese, say half of it. Half of this cheddar cheese, half a cup. And then I have my block of cream cheese. I'm going to have to set it down for that. Let me put it right there like that maybe, okay? I'm going to pinch this cream cheese off in here. Half a block. You got half a cup of grated cheddar and half a block of cream cheese. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands off. Okay, now we just want to stir this in here with the fire on low until our cheese gets melted. Let your cheese get melted down in there real good. Now we got us a good big old pot of sauce, cheese sauce here to pour over these potatoes. Good and creamy. And remember, we've already got salt in there. But when we go to layering these potatoes in there, in our buttered pan, we're going to sprinkle salt and pepper to taste on each layer, right? Okay, we're going to call that good. We'll just let that sit here. And I'm going to take this skillet over here with me and load it with y'all close by. Let me see. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to take half of the potatoes and we're going to layer them in here. Spread them out. Do it like this. Like I say, this was 4, you know, good size, not big old large ones, but good size russet potatoes, okay? Now we're going to take this onion. Like I say, see, I've got it sliced real thin. Real thin. I like it thin. Go ahead and just layer that in there. Now we're going to get some salt and pepper. And like I say, you don't want to stump your toe on that. Just a little bit of salt, because you can add that salt to it on your plate if it doesn't have enough, right? I'm going to pepper it. And now we're going to add our first half of the cheese out of the pot. Ooh, that cheese sauce smells good. Alright. Okay. There's that. Now we're going to go ahead and add our second layer of potatoes. Lay them all out on there. This is a good side dish for company too, because it's homemade. It's nothing like the boxed. It don't even, that doesn't come close to what this tastes like, for real. some things, you know, you can kind of get by with or whatever, but no. This surpasses that in every way. Okay, so I'm going to do just a little salt. And, where's my, oh, a little more pepper. Now the rest of our cheese sauce. Y'all, this smells so good. So delicious and homemade. It's going to be creamy and just so tasty. It's a wonderful side dish. Okay, what we're going to do now is take the rest of our half a cup of shredded cheddar. We're just going to sprinkle it on here. Okay. Sprinkle it all on there. Got that. And now we're going to do 2 slices of bacon. And what I do is I'll take them and cut it in half. Can you see? I'm just going to cut them in half. And that way I can take them and layer them like this. Do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we need some foil. I don't have the right kind of lid to cover that with. I did have an old cast iron lid, and I think when the house burned, I lost it in that fire. So, but anyway, here we are. Oh, I tell you what I'm going to do, just because I'm going to take me some spray, oil spray, and spray my foil so that, and I'll tell you what, I'll even spray this bacon a little bit because we're going to put this in a 400-degree oven, right? And we're going to let it bake. It's got to bake for an hour and a half. So for the first hour, we're going to bake it with this foil on it, okay? Then, when there's 30 minutes left, just do your timer for an hour and bake it with this foil on it. And then take it out of the oven and remove the foil and bake it with no cover on it for the last 30 minutes, okay? Whew, Lord, that's heavy. And I suggest doing this because it just might bubble over, boiling. So, we're going to do this right here. I'll put it in the oven. And when I come back, I think I've got, I'm going to show y'all how I do my deviled eggs. And we'll take the au gratin, Tally-Fay au gratin potatoes out of the oven and show you how nice they look. So we'll be back in a little bit.